Rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. We are back with the Great Pendragon Campaign. It is episode 136. It's the Grail period and technically the year 556, although we haven't done year 555's winter. We're going to do that later. There's a lot to catch up on because we haven't played in a little bit. But where we... Do either of you all remember exactly kind of what was going on last time?
Oh, yeah. We had... So, the Cornish have invaded, are besieging Sarum, and they sent an army to Camelot. All while we were up north in Malahut, dealing with a civil war that seemed to be sort of stirred up by someone connected with Morgana Le Fay.
Yes.
And now we've returned, and Archie led a plan to capture the castle of Duplain to cut off the army besieging Camelot from the army besieging Sarum, and also ambush a convoy that had a big ol'
The Infernal Engine. Yeah.
Battle.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we were about to pay the piper in regards to holding Duplain. That I don't remember. I think whether Archie was just gonna take the fall there and hopefully get captured or something else.
Oh, you were captured.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you were captured, and the last detail was you sold out. No, you didn't. You told King Mark of a secret way into Sarum that does not exist.
Yep.
And by doing this, you knew that as a consequence, any prisoner that is not getting ransomed off is going to die, and and you're going to hear it and watch them.
Yep.
And you're paying this price.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But on the flip side, Jim, what do you remember about Cadwalla?
I mean, last I remember, we'd made it to the Grail feast. Cadwalla had surviving some sort of energetic bed.
Yeah,
and it was a magic moment, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
It was all. It kind of was like there was a duel, if I remember, and stepping through a door, like following a knight through a door. But I don't know who the knight was, and then we're in the middle of the Grail feast. Percival answers the questions correctly. I recall I would have had to crit 3 times in order to answer them. And then,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then, there was a passion that called on. I didn't even know could be a passion. So I was like, oh shit,
love of God.
Yeah. And then now we're back in Camelot?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You, Gawain, and the rest of the knights. So you're in Camelot, and in fact, it's that's where we also see Arthur kind of getting revitalized by the Grail, if you recall.
Yeah.
But there's still a big old siege outside of Camelot to be relieved. But miraculously, the heart and soul of the Round Table Knights have returned and have rejuvenated the king.
Nice. Very good.
So I think we're gonna start here. So with the remaining knights returning to Camelot under siege and dealing with the siege of King Mark's forces. Now, Mark's forces, due to the sacrifices of Archie and their contingents, they do not have the Infernal Engine. So you're going to be getting a +10. We're going to do just a siege result to do this. So they're not getting a +10 against Camelot's walls, which is probably going to be the difference here. I will roll for King Mark's forces, and you will roll for defending. So what you're going to be rolling is with a total of 50, a defense value of 15, and with the siege result of 10. So basically rolling with a score of 25.
Okay.
So 1d20 plus 5 against 20.
Oh yeah, you know what, Colin? Yeah, you roll for this instead of me.
I'm just like reminding myself how to play the game.
Oh, right. Okay, fair play. Okay, so that would be the defender's roll. And the attacker's roll, I'm looking at their modifiers, so they do not have the engine, but they do get a skill of 10, and I want to know whether or not the number of people they have counts for +5, just from the army. I'm gonna roll a d2, and on a 1, they do. Okay, they get an additional +5, so I'll be rolling with a 15.
Okay.
All right, so I got a 25.
The whole +15.
I fucked up. That was supposed to be that was with a 5. So no. So I should have rolled.
Like,
it should have been equal to. It should have been. I'm sorry. I added it. So I've been playing Wolves upon the Coast, where you're adding defense value. So I'm like used to adding this thing to be 20. So I just totally just autopiloted right into that. No, totally. Their skill was 15. And they would have rolled a 10 plus 5. So they had the modifier of +5. So they got a 15 out of 20.
I got you. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay. So you got a success. They also got a success. So that's a castle is not but you also did you roll a 4?
Okay.
No, you didn't roll. You rolled,
no, I rolled
like
a 14.
You rolled a 14, so that should be a crit. So you rolled over a crit for sure with the additional benefits. So you critted and we succeeded. So the castle's not taken, and there's as well as moderate losses to the attacker. Okay. So I think what that would mean is that we don't have to go into individual combats for you as far as fighting and stuff. We can just wrap it all up here as a single siege attack roll. And in return, I think you should probably go ahead and give yourself what the actual number should be that you rolled, which was 14 plus 15. So that would be like a 29. So give yourself 290 glory. As we don't spend any of our visual effects budget.
Yeah.
And we just cut to the aftermath of the battle. Right. But as you're cleaning your swords off many a smited foe, you're going to be left with a pretty sobering decision, Cadwalla. So there's no sign of Archie, and remember that there's not really a solid marshal under Arthur right now. Gawain, who was with you, is volunteering to take a small force away to Clarence and Gloucester, who, among your prisoners, you've heard that some raiders from the south and from Ireland who are allied with either Morgana or King Mark, or just everyone against Arthur, have sailed up through Cardiff into Clarence / Gloucester, up that river, the Severn, and has been kind of taking up a force up there. So he's going to go try to relieve them, right?
That's to the northwest.
That's to the north. But before you make a decision on what to do, you should hear the rest of it. Okay. Right. Amongst those Christian reavers is your twisted uncle Osmore, who has sworn allegiance to them. Now, what has happened to Godwin in this time is unknown, but part of your own kin are up there. So if you feel a personal need to go against your kin, you should do that. But again, also Archie is missing, right?
Yeah, and it's like we don't know what like where Wessex is or any of the other, like we'd assume that like Wessex would have marched in defense of Camelot. They're not that
Right.
far away, but Gigant is like right in the path of invasion. So it's like,
Oh.
did they get overrun? Are their soldiers like were they co-opted or like forced recruited into it?
Yeah. So here's what you know
questions.
for sure. And so like obviously in this fight you would have some information because yes, you fought alongside only a handful of knights loyal to Godwin and stuff, and these are the ones giving you this information, right? Godwin is not amongst these ranks, so the fate of Godwin is still unknown, but probably not good. Other things to know: your family and your immediate retinue are okay. Your extended retinue, unspoken for, probably were in Sarum.
Okay,
right?
yeah, because they were under.
But
I
you're
put them under the chart.
But your immediate family was able to get out and get to got to Camelot. It might have been one of those weird situations where, just as luck would have it, they were in, like most of them were already in Camelot, doing some sort of functionary duty thing, right? When this happened. So your immediate family's accounted for. There's something going on in Gloucester that could take your attention with a wicked uncle, right? And some of the and I would say probably the majority of the host of Wessex, right? Which probably means that Godwin is, when whoever was loyal to Godwin, they said that they fought like fucking demons to get out, and to get to Camelot, away from the host, to warn Arthur and all this kind of, and that's who you're dealing with here. So they want you, loyal, loyal daughter of Godwin, or familially speaking, to maybe unite, and maybe you can, if they think that you're alive, maybe that could change the tides up north, right? But then you also got to deal with
that's possible,
your Earl. But like really, you're gonna have to ask I'm asking you to pick between your allegiances, because you also have Archie and Rufus and the fate of Sarum and everything you're hearing about Sarum right now is that it's still under siege, and
all of her. Yeah,
exactly,
where all of her other, all of her personal,
so the
retinue is.
To keep King Mark on the run means they're gonna be taking castles all the way back to Cornwall, right, including Sarum. So you kind of have these two choices. You could either throw your weight under Gawain, and go after your usurping uncle and those forces, or relieve Sarum.
I kind of, so a couple of thoughts. Like King Mark has a lot. Seems like King Mark has a lot of like his invasion force is pretty substantial. If he's able to like split it into several different columns, and like, so I don't think splitting our forces is a good idea. I think wherever we go, we ought to go in force. And that's going to mean that some places are like they're not going to be like first on the list. Right. So Salisbury's under siege. Do we know if we have any idea of the how long Sarum can hold out, and how many castles are held between here and there?
There's no well, there is one. I feel like you would know. You've been told that Duplain is not held by friendly forces. So that's pretty much the first fortification between them and Sarum. But what you ended up doing was, Camelot seemed like they were bunkering behind their walls. And there was only more or less a token force in front of Camelot at the time, right? Because that you've heard that most of the host is at Sarum and they've been giving them hell, right? But if you ride out now when they're least expecting it, when they're still preparing like the trenches and stuff like that, for a long siege, you had your shot and you did it, and you killed as many as you could and sent the rest of them packing. You can definitely keep up that momentum. But what you've heard and why Gawain is so keen to go after Gloucester is that there are many boats landing up there, and that if we can stop from, another front of forces having a safe spot to land and things like that could really, kind of save a lot of Wales, which is really funny coming from Gawain, because Wales is basically, that's this place that he hates, but he's kind of, putting he's putting country above party in this moment, and or above kin in this way.
Yeah. Any word from like Mordred or any of the other Orkney contingent? Do we know?
Yeah, and it's not great. If anything, you've heard that Mordred and Mark are aligned, and that's sort of this Christian alliance, and that it is Mordred who's probably up in Gloucester, which is maybe Gawain didn't point that out, right? But I think he kind of feels this as a personal.
Yeah. All right. So, and do we know where King Mark is? Is the other thing. Like, was he?
Yeah, King Mark's in Salisbury.
Yeah, Camelot.
So so basically you can imagine this is sort of a two-front war where King Mark's in Salisbury, they were sieging there, as the rest of the forces under Mordred and stuff are up in Gloucester raiding. Amongst those folks, you know that there are some folks from France, there are some folks from Ireland, there are folks from like the Hebrides, that kind of like the Isles, that kind of disparate pirate kind of people that we've always kind of had in the game.
All the places where there's been dissent against Arthur's rule for decades now.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I think that ultimately we should march on Gloucester and stop whatever is brewing there. Like they weren't able to take Camelot. So as long as we leave a force capable of holding Camelot, should they decide to reinvest it, we need to march in force somewhere. And it's like, we could get bogged down in a bunch of sieges on the way to Sarum, or we could head off this new one before they get a foothold, potentially gather more strength, and then cut them off from their base of supply by marching down the peninsula, right?
Oh yeah.
Like if we're up near Clarence and where that waterway cuts into the Cornwall borderlands, and then march south through Summerland, Yagan, Dorset, then we could potentially like trap them in our heartlands, where they're the enemy, right? Instead of pushing them back into Cornwall, do an end run around them.
Totally. No, totally. That's exactly the spirit of what we want to do up here. It makes perfect sense.
Okay. Yeah. So we should march.
Do not let the armies cross, right? Yeah. Do not let them have any chance of getting together.
March up through Silchester, because if their act together and unite, then that sounds like we're in trouble.
Yeah. Okay. So that we will do that in just a moment. Then we have to play out the rest of the siege for Sarum. And I think I want Archie's help for this. So first off, Archie, as a prisoner, you're being punished and tormented, but you're also the bargaining chip for King Mark's life. Mm-hmm. So you know that they can't kill you, but they will absolutely do everything they can to make you break and be, feel pain as best you can. So I think you're going to have to take an aging role. I think just from the stuff you have to endure, just straight up. But the question of whether or not you need to take more, I think will come down to a test. And I think it depends on what keeps you going. Which I think an 8 is that none? Are you just built different?
6 through 8 is none. It might be 6 through 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 6 through 8 is nothing. Okay, so despite everything they do to you, you're holding strong. And as you're looking at the remains of your, the last knight of your vassals, who is now hanging from a tree, right? And you see this world, its brittleness break away, leaving you as, the last strength of Sarum in the distance, smoke clouded, the armies marching on it. And, you remain What's going through your head? What's keeping you going?
Interestingly, it is not my spirituality. So my spiritual is only 12, so I'm like a little religious. I'm seeing justice, generous, and just are all at 19 or higher. Same with temperate and valor. Those are 18s. Loyalty Lord is at 19. I think Archie is seeing someone trying to break the world. Is seeing Mark try to introduce the kind of anarchy that Gareth described to Aeswin and Aeswin described to Archie. The kind of thing he read about in the Family Chronicle. He is trying to rewrite the natural way of things by might of arm. And it is Archie's duty and the duty of all good vassals to King Arthur to resist that. I think that's what he's holding on to, is this sense of belief in the justness of his loyalties. That it isn't just that I'm loyal to King Arthur. It's that is the good thing. That is the just thing. That is like the bones of the world. And to submit to King Mark and the depravity of his violence would be to suggest an injustice to his belief in King Arthur, and Archie is unwilling to do that.
The world is greater than just he who has the sword. Yeah, and that faith in a just world. I love that. Cool. Well, definitely check justice. Check just.
It's basically permanently checked.
Yeah, that's fair.
Once you get 19, you start.
Do you want to? You should definitely roll it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you should roll it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. Can't imagine though. Still, having to see you as a marshal, and vassal. You're upper middle manager of the the world of the feudalism of Camelot. Seeing everything you've worked so hard for, your whole family's worked for, crumble down, and still have that faith that this is what remains.
I've been reading a lot of Tolkien in preparation for a One Ring campaign, and I was talking in the Seattle Discord with Sage and stuff about how one accrues these shadow points, and one of them is dread and fear, right? Tolkien ascribes to the very Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-Norman idea that captaincy, leading men, is a position of responsibility where you fear is antithetical to leadership. That Tolkien sets that up as a betrayal of faith, that you are meant to lead, so to doubt your own leadership is to betray those you would lead. And I think that's very much what Archie's feeling now, is I'm terrified. I am on the verge of despair, but I'm a marshal. I am a knight of Salisbury. I am a vassal of King Arthur Pendragon. Those things cannot exist in me. Not right now.
That is so incredible. It's such a perfect metaphor, because even as long as Sarum still has breath, it's this in the same kind of way. You're seeing it as everything's crumbling except for this little bit here. You're I have to hold on. Yeah, just like they are. Yeah,
that last bit, that's the important bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bit that matters.
Yeah, so it's so beautiful. Sick. Okay. Yeah. So no aging roll needed or anything like that extra. Just for enduring. Cool. So then let's go ahead and do the siege results here for Sarum. So Jim, you can roll for the attack. Oh, Colin. Well, actually, you should have the choice, Colin. Do you want to roll for the attack or the defender?
I'll roll for the defender. I want to say attacker because I roll shit, but
yeah, honestly, that's why I asked that. That's so funny. It's because that's exactly when I went through my head of being like, I think I would actually give Colin the prerogative to choose.
I will roll for
the defense.
Sarum.
Okay. So King's Mark's forces here, they will only get a +5 and their skill is 10. The defenders, you're rolling with a 10, but you also get a 10 modifier for the upgraded walls of the fortress or this keep here. You're rolling at a 20. Okay. That's a 4. And that's a 12.
17.
Okay. So they're both successes. So that means the castle. So we're gonna continue this though, but the castle's not taken, but there's low losses to the attackers as well. So what this looks like then is that the first level of bodies, they were kind of maybe King Mark was expecting that they're gonna surrender now, and so there was kind of a token, but not anymore. We're gonna keep. All right.
It was more than token. He was like,
Yeah.
pull back, guys. Well, let's come up with an actual plan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go for another siege result here.
Ooh, that's
Okay.
what we like, baby. Oh, and that's a
Okay.
failure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure
So
is.
with a success on the defender's roll and a failure in the attacker's roll, the castle is not taken and moderate losses are to the attacker. So I think this is sort of the scene, very much like Helm's Deep, kind of ride out with me, like things are kind of at the end here. Yeah, I think the Earl, I wish we could have the stats for the Earl and like figure out like rolling what kind of things they were doing. But like this is, Rufus and whoever is left around, they're holding on, they're refusing to give up. And as they prepare for their own debts and taking as many down with them, I think that's when the relief forces of Gawain and stuff from Duplain and move in. Not Gawain, but what's his name? Not Gawain. Why am I forgetting Galahad? Jesus. Is moving in, coming over, and starts breaking into the lines, throwing confusion. Oh my God. So Sarum is saved, but is a short-lived victory as Archie. You're going to be escorted away with the rest of the baggage away from this loss, and you're going to be continually being pushed back further and further as the forces back towards Cornwall. So we do not need to roll for every single castle being taken and things like that. But let's go to Cadwalla. So Cadwalla, you're going to be marching up with Gawain. Your scouts and reports indicate that Gloucester is sort of the prize for the landing, and so you're going to be fighting as a relief force to a siege in Gloucester.
All right.
Right. So your relief force is going to first encounter a blocking force in Kirchenster, which is in the southern part of Clarence. And the first thing is that should be concerning to you are the numerous goat skulls on spikes on the roads leading towards you. These are clear pagan warding rituals of, this is an area of magic. Right?
This is close to Ridichan and all that
Yeah, correct. So there will be. So the forces that under your control here are expecting magic.
This is from the Christian Alliance of King Mark.
Yep. But these are the spells of Morgana Le Fay at work, aiding them.
Okay.
So you would think that the Christians would be against such things, but here you are, still using the might and magics of paganism to assist their dominance.
Yeah.
And perhaps it's not faith that fuels this moment, but just sheer power for power's sake. Mayhaps.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be, what is, our most duplicitous vassal.
Yeah.
All
right.
Okay.
So you've all heard that there is magic used on troops in Gloucester. Things like their eyes turning inside, eyes falling out of their heads, rains of frogs, and terrifying feats of lightning. Right. There is no honor lost or cowardly checks gained if you do not want to fight.
I think that we march under the aegis of the Grail, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have returned it to Camelot. Arthur is restored. Like, Cadwell has been in the presence of it. Like,
totally.
I think for her, and marches alongside Percival, I'm assuming, and others who are, who managed to make it through the Grail quest. They didn't perish along the way.
Okay.
Why would we stop now? Like, of all the horrors we've seen, of all the wickedness that we've seen so far, why would this stop us? It's like her attitude.
Totally. Okay. So then we're gonna need some contested battle rules for this part.
Yeah.
I assume Cadwalla, you want to take over as Gawain for the commander of this battle, and then Colin, you want to roll the blocking force of magic.
Sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen here is Colin, as King Brian and their forces, you have a battle skill of 20. And Gawain's battle skill is 22, but you have the following modifiers. You have a -10 because of the magical impedance of King Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you have a -5 because you were outnumbered.
Oof.
For the first round.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Sure.
That's
roll well.
Yeah, that's a pass. It's a pass for Brian. So let's see how your charge, your opening charge for the battle goes. So we have to do this battle. Yeah, this will give you a modifier to the battle roll, or sorry, to the first charge that you're getting. So I think you're rolling a total of I think a battle skill of 7.
Yeah.
Unless there's a, you want to call on a passion or something like that.
I think calling on a passion is certainly a good one. I don't know what Gawain's loyalty lord is, or something like that. Either that or
it's a 19.
Okay, yeah, then let's call that. Let's do that. So this would be for his passion. All right.
Okay.
Got that. I think
it's a +5.
+5.
So at least you're rolling with a 12 at least.
Or no, well, yeah, because he doesn't have a 20. He's just got 19. So +5. All right. So that cancels out at least the being outnumbered. All right. So then here is our. All right. So at least a success.
It's a success. Yeah, at least it's okay. At least it's not a failure. Okay, no, that's good. Okay, so that means you're getting a 0, a net total of 0 on your results for this roll.
Yeah.
But this does, so you're getting a +0, but this means that Colin, you only rolled a 19. Okay, good. Okay, so that's not a crit. Or 17. Okay, so that's not a crit. If you were a crit, then they would be getting +5 against you, but they're not. Okay, so then now we can kind of jump over to the first charge. Cadwalla, you're going to be rolling up using your lance skill. modified by this battalion battle roll of 0.
Okay. So what skill am I rolling?
You're going to be rolling as a ordinary knight.
So 15 or 16.
Yeah. Exactly. Land 16. Okay, they pass.
They don't crit though.
No.
I think so. Does the passion roll count for this, or that was a separate roll?
I mean, that was a separate roll. That was for like Gawain blessing the army, like his, getting everybody ready for the opening charge here. Yeah. So you can definitely, as you're now assuming the role is Cadwalla as a, trusted leader of and a skill of this volunteer troop right on Gawain's left flank.
Yeah.
Or right, whichever one you think is more prominent here. I think it's left. So
let's see. I'll call on my own loyalty in this case. We'll see how it plays out here. All right.
Absolutely.
So it gives me a +5 for that.
Arthur, yeah. You're calling out like Arthur lives, he has the Grail, as we're fighting. And
16 beats a 15.
Okay. Sneaking it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squeak by.
Yeah. You get to do your horse's damage. But they do.
Okay.
But your average knight does get their shield.
So let's see. Well, since I've used my horse's damage, say it's 8d6 for charger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If it's the elf one, I think it's 8. Otherwise, it's 7. Do you know? I feel like you have like the best of the state of the art.
Oh yeah. Got the best of the. She was riding her.
Okay.
Great.
That does go over.
That roll.
Yeah, that does go over their armor. Okay. So then we're going to get stuck in for the actual battle phases here. So we do have to see how this would normally go. We don't have to do like the entire battle and fight as we go on here, but I think we should probably do a couple rounds of how this is going for you. So I think the first thing we got to do then is another Gawain's battle roll to see sort of where things are at when in this engagement when we zoom in. So your first clash was average. Didn't like break them or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. We didn't run fleeing either. Okay. Let's see. So this is for Gawain's battle. Is he still inspired?
Yeah, correct. He's still inspired.
Inspired.
$10.
So that's going to be a 10.
And
all right.
Yeah. And Colin, can you get me the enemy's battle?
Yeah, still at 22 or
yeah,
20?
Still at 20. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
nice.
That's my more usual rolling.
Okay, you're not going against multiple. You're not going against multiple forces. All right, okay. You're going to be still locked in against only a single knight, which is good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Is there time for us to reform for another charge, or are we stuck in a melee?
No, you're stuck in the melee.
Okay.
So we're going to be fighting with our swords, or for you, a two-handed sword, right?
I can't use it from horseback.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you get
skill? I think that might have been.
Yeah. Right. So the question, yeah. So after the spears break and stuff, does the camera find you on horseback with your hammer and stuff, or are you on the ground with on feet with your sword?
I mean, I'd still rather be on horseback. I think.
Yeah.
Even though her just like regular sword skill is not as good as two-handed.
Yeah.
Rather have the advantage, the option of gathering for a charge,
Yeah.
things like that.
For sure.
So
That's good because you're fighting against people on horseback, which is why I wanted to know.
Yeah, rather not take that penalty.
Yeah. But you kind of imagine sort of how just like gray and muddy and like misty and muggy this whole fight scene is in the sort of swampy, estuary part of the river outside of Gloucester. Sword. All right, you kick my ass, that's for sure.
Got him. See how this goes. Oh,
what the hell? Okay.
Once.
Clash. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. All right. Maybe they're unhorsed. I don't know if that's enough to even.
No, it doesn't even. I don't think it probably even gets over their decks. No, you're right. I think they're. I don't know. That's probably close to their dexterity value. So let's see. Yeah, that would unhorse them. They would fail their dex check, so they would fall over. They would take an additional. Oh, I have to roll the /R part. So they do take 5 damage from falling. Okay, so you are making some progress in the mud and the muck.
Okay.
All right.
These are Islanders or Irish.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
If this King Brian, it's the Irish king. Yeah.
Yeah. Of the Isles. Yeah. So here's the thing though. After these 2 rounds, that's when the lightning starts hitting.
Okay.
So can you please make me a dexterity save? As the lightning hits both friend and foe of King Brian alike.
Failure for dexterity. She's got a good dexterity too.
Okay. You're gonna take. All right, then Cadwalla, you're gonna get thrown off of your horse as you are. Well, let's see if you get thrown off of your horse. You will be taking an ancillary lightning strike here. Okay. Colin, can you do the honor of rolling the damage? Maybe you can save him from doing from 66.
Nope.
So.
There we go.
That's enough to cause a dexterity check to see if you fall off your horse. But I don't think...
horse or dexterity?
If you're...
you're on a horse, so it's horsemanship. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. Yo! Okay, you stay on the horse for sure. Okay.
Jeez. All right. The other question I have is does my armor protect me from any of that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So I think you are taking. Is that enough for? That's probably enough for a major wound. Because you're literally hit by a lightning bolt.
I have. I guess. Yeah, I can see why armor would shield. Chivalry certainly would.
Yeah.
Would shield. Also protect.
Yeah. I think when you
shield and chivalry, it's not enough for a major wound.
Then
it's a lot.
Then I don't think you take a major wound, as I think because also I think it's really cool because you crit your horsemanship as well. So it's like this idea, like it just mostly just goes to your shield, and your shield just like flies out of your hand, saving you.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's sick as hell, actually. So as, you can you watch as this like lightning goes sideways, like through chain lightning, like through the ranks of everybody. Yeah.
Where's Merlin when you need him?
Yep. Everything smells like burning and twistedness. And there is tremendous harm to both sides. To expedite this a little bit, the victory here is going to be indecisive. What will end up happening here is that you do end up the blocking force can't stay, but you also will all suffer grievous casualties from the magic. So give yourself 180 glory for this battle. The battle outside of Gloucester with the lightning.
All right.
All right, and then we can go to. So what? And we'll have to like again do more of a montage of what's going on. So after Cirencester, what's going to happen is you're going to have to start trying to make your way to Gloucester. But rather than being able to directly siege it, given your strengths, you're forced to have to instead fight the raiding parties and foraging parties of King Mark instead. And so there's a long siege and standoff. But eventually, Brian's army withdraws and boards its ships, leaving Gloucester utterly looted, much of it burned. So,
okay, so they sack the city.
Yeah. So the price of this action is that while you're able to save the armies from reuniting, you are not able to save Gloucester, and you weren't able to get to Mordred or anybody like that, which also pisses Gawain off as well.
Yeah. Do we see any of the forces from Wessex? Any of the wayward uncle of Godwin's?
Yep, they also will be fleeing off. So I think the safe thing to do here is that you do not. I think the ultimate action here is that it's a failure for any resolution. Instead, you only get just further confirmation of the depravities of your uncle. And yeah, that the forces here of under Osmore have sworn allegiance to him.
Any loyalists nowhere to be seen.
No.
All right. Okay, I think we ought to gather our strength and they take off. We don't know really where they're going.
The better GM of me would have described it as during the fighting of Cirencester, like when they recognize that Cadwal is still alive and forces begin to switch sides. That's when the lightning starts. But I'm not that good at this.
Gotcha. I got you. It's how could we neutralize Morgan?
No. From your understanding is that from your understanding, you think that they're going to be going back to like they're either safe spots would either be Cornwall or back over to Brittany. Right.
Okay.
But I think at this point we can, without any other extra scenes or things I think you all want to declare, I think we could probably start talking about winter as sort of the montages of fighting. We're going to be the war's not going to be over. Where we're not going to, you're going to have to it's a lot of sieges between Somerset to Tintagel.
Yeah. I think the only thing Cadwalla really wants to do is start making her way south, making for whatever manor she holds in Yagant there at the borderlands.
Totally.
Maybe we could see if there's anyone from Sarum or further east that's joining us. But as long as they outnumber us and have magic, it's going to be tough, especially if Arthur's not taking the field with Excalibur.
I didn't. Yeah, I think later on in the year, Arthur will come out with Excalibur. But I think at the very start, it was more about him trying to save Camelot, logistically, than recklessly becoming a knight once again.
Yeah, we're the somebody has to act right now force.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But the great magic promised to the Cornish army and the pirates is failed ultimately, due to the recovery of the Holy Grail, is what most people would say. But I think for you knights, you recognize as well it's just a lot of fighting as well in strength of arms is what keeps it, and your unwavering faith in King Arthur that wins the day at the end of or going towards the harvest season of 556. And I think the important part as we get into as we go over the winter phase and start 557 is that the wasteland is receding, and that the desolation, for the first time in early March, you hear like the birds call again. There's that little like broken little, the leaves grow on the tree of Gondor. Like there's like a little bit of that reflourishment, a little like white budding on your orchard leaves again. That once grew dormant. Yeah. Where mobs of hungry peasants would tear through. Life thrusts from the dormant.
Questions about
yeah.
glory awards, because I don't have anything for the Monastery of the Black Monks or for the Castle of Joy. I've got 1,000 for the Castle of Adventure.
I have no glory since the death of the hag in the swamp.
That sounds like classic Eric shenanigans. Okay. So let's talk about 554, 555. So you should have definitely gotten some stuff for the battles. So let's say Archie, the glory you would get for you weren't actually part of the action at what's it called? Devi or Devi, right? Or Davon? What was it called? Duplain. Sorry, one of the deep castles. You sent
Archie personally helped take Duplain and then planned the ambush at the river, but stayed at Duplain to be captured.
Right. So
that was to give the rest of the people who did the ambush
time to
then do their guerrilla stuff and
exactly
join up with Camelot.
So that's give yourself 180 glory.
Okay. That was 556 or 555.
That's technically part of 556.
Okay, 100. There we go. Is that it?
Yeah, because no, you did try to hold off at Duplain, so give yourself another 100 glory for fighting off before you were captured.
Okay.
So
while we've been following Caedwalla's the campaign heading, into the Cornish lands and all of the retinue that got captured with me, all of them got executed, right?
Yes. You're still captured.
Yeah, as soon as they're executed, that sort of takes away any reason Archie would have to not try and escape. So I think that he's going to be on the lookout for those opportunities through this whole campaign.
Right.
See if he can do a Paris in reverse.
Okay. Okay. So the first step would be recognizing an opportunity. I imagine that's probably an intrigue roll. in my eyes, is you probably picking stuff up through what people are saying or an awareness, whether or not it's a sheer observation. Whatever you want to say it is. Yeah.
Success on intrigue.
Okay. So yeah. So you have you're in a position to do this plan. And then the rest of it would actually be trying to sneak out. Which I think is probably for me I think it's probably just a dexterity test.
Okay.
To see whether or not how bad, like if sneaking out is an issue. Oh my god. Okay. Right. So broadly speaking, to me this looks like it's one of those times when you're in the cages and stuff, and the process of getting moved and things, and then when there's got to be some part of the pattern of the behavior, right? Okay. That's the look of Colin having a an idea.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Archie has we the audience get to see Archie have that moment of resolution beneath his hanged retainers of not breaking. But I think Archie is willing to look broken in front of King Mark. And makes a point over the weeks of asking for the guards for news of how the war is going, and if his family's been captured, if other people have been captured, and slowly that morphs into just can I please get blanket, can I please get a little bit more water, just more and more pathetic. Stops eating, seemingly gets a little sick, and they're like, okay, we gotta make sure this guy doesn't die on us because he's King Mark's bargaining chip. And so they open up and are gonna drag him to see a medicus or something, and that's the opportunity that he engineered to get free.
Oh man. Beautiful. And so I think this is, so my question to you then is your medicant in on it? Are they sympathetic or?
No, I think I headbutt him and go.
Okay, yeah, it's even cooler. Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think in service of this escape, Archie would bravely drink some bad water and get the shits in order to be seen by a medicus.
Real hero. I'm looking forward to this this Oscar worthy movie being made by no for sure directed by Ridley Scott. So
no, Guy Ritchie.
Oh yeah, there we go, to make it very accurate. Yeah, thank you.
It's done by Guy Ritchie in the style of Snatch or Rock and Roll.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, this is the long-awaited sequel to King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
Oh God.
So, yeah. So then I think you're just gonna start running.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beat feet, hell or high water.
Part of me thinks in a weird, twisted way this is like a hunting check of how to not get caught.
Oh, well, historically, the family is very good at that.
Yeah.
You want to ask me what my hunting skill is?
-6?
0. It's literally 0.
That's incredible. I mean, for that. Yeah. Right. Well, I imagine once you're found escaping, it's literally a question of, well, the good news is that your dexterity check and stuff is going to give you distance, right? Mm-hmm. So you have distance on your side, before just literally time before you're discovered to be missing.
I think Archie's plan is to be the opposite of a persistence hunter, right?
Yeah.
The idea is I will run through the night.
Yes.
I will run until my body collapses.
Yeah. This is literally, I can't help but imagine this was kind of happening in the evening or so. That's when this is going on. Yeah, for sure. So you can maximize using the night. So
I've got the energetic 20. Like
that's true.
I'm built to run. Built to run, baby.
Yep. Yeah, the only difficulty I think would be is that your enemies will be vast and hunting against you. So the question is whether or not you get enough distance between them before you can basically just outrun them from having enough time. So part of me thinks that's part of their, like, should we, like, is their hunting skill versus something? But
let's see that. I mean, the min-maxer in me wants to go. They're hunting versus my energetic.
I mean, that doesn't seem like the worst idea in my head.
Yeah.
It's
otherwise if it's like hunting versus hunting, I'm gonna have to
no,
to have a skill.
No, it's definitely not hunting versus hunting. But I wonder, there's not like an athletic skill, is there?
No, there's just your like strength and constitution. Right. Maybe it's constitution.
Usually like dexterity covers athleticism.
Yeah. Well, then we are letting that ride from your.
This is like your will, right? Like this is just your will to escape. I can see how energetic would work.
Yeah.
Also,
you for sure.
Totally, like in my head, like they would have come through Till's head. So like, Cadwalla's hunting dogs are probably as part of that camp as well. They'd know you.
So
no, I mean, like if you wanted to like grab one, I don't know.
No, this makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'll roll energetic.
All right. You're going to roll energetic. And Jim, I'm going to need you to roll for the hunting party here.
Okay.
Yep.
Higher than 10. Higher than 10. That's
I will roll randomly to see their skill level. Okay, they got a 16 and they get a +5.
All right.
Given the size and dogs and the importance, they're sparing no expense to go after you.
Okay, so their skill is 16. They get a +5 for all.
So it's a D20 +1 basically is the. Yo! Jim rolls a 2.
Double Italian hands on that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You were actually the mad lad did it.
Yeah.
Archie makes it free.
And I think it really is on the strength of his willing to be undignified in the escape. Like he is hurling himself down in gullies and streams.
Oh yeah.
Covered in mud and filth.
You're just Shawshank Redemption and taking off.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. And we're gonna look for the first friendly church along the way.
It's night. Oh my god, it's nighttime, raining. Yeah, you just ran through the freaking woods. You're all cut up and muddy and soaked. But
like I'm Javert. I need sanctuary.
Come in. Yeah. Oh my god. Incredible. They hide you through the night. Beautiful. Okay. That is an amazing spot to go to Winterface.
Right.
That was so cool.
Still need those glory.
Glory for that.
Oh, let's go with 160. Basically 10 times the or 140. 10 times your energetic minus the whatever Jim roll.
Sounds good.
Still need my glory awards for the monastery and the castle.
Yes. I believe the monastery is 300. And the shield as well. Should be.
I have Abbey on the shield.
Oh, you did get the shield. Okay, so you just need glory for the trial.
Yeah, whatever was one there.
It's 500 to win all the challenges, which you did.
Okay.
It's 100 to attempt, 500 to pass.
Imagine it's if you get like all three of those checks at the end and beat Percival, I imagine it's a crazy total there too.
Oh yeah. It's literally
I like that
1,000.
it leaves the option of like it could be you. Like it's
Yeah.
it's improbable, but it could be.
Oh yeah. Totally. All right. Did we Roll20 changed their stuff a lot? Are you looking? I just want to confirm. Are both of you looking at the winter phase?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I am, yeah.
All right. Well, we don't need any more yearly events. Let's do some experience rolls. There is another loss though I need to flag in these years. So both King Godwin is dead. That I think you can get confirmation on, but the Earl of Salisbury is also dead. Earl Garthwin.
Who's his heir?
Who died succumbing to wounds in Sarum's defense.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are wild right now. Okay. We'll figure out what to do about his heir next year, I guess.
Yeah. So according to my notes, he does have children.
Yeah.
But
I didn't think he died without an heir. I just don't think we've seen anything about his kids.
Yeah. So 554 would make them. They are 12. His oldest one's 12. And her name is Angrad.
Valorous goes up. Valorous 19. I guess, with that escape, I think maybe that makes sense.
Sure.
Expecting. No, land. Not expecting these. Oh, okay.
Which goes up.
Okay. The true, and as for you, Caedwalla, the next of kin, specifically for Wessex, is the daughter Bronwyn.
Okay.
Who was in
So she'll be Queen of Wessex.
Camelot. Yes. God damn. All right. How do we fare in the aging?
555 and 556
together? Yeah, we're rolling them all in. Yeah.
Right.
Given that we were away from your all's manners and stuff like that.
Prudent goes up. I don't know. I'm still doing experience right now. Vengeful's gone up. I'm gonna get insane glory awards. Like the last time I tallied it was at 554.
Yeah.
That's not yet.
Well, one of the major things is that the destruction of everyone's lands. So our manorial calculations are.
It'll be different. Yeah, these are lean times.
Caedwalla is we're getting some character development with Gaedwalla. Vengeful, prudent, and suspicion.
Yeah.
Yeah, vengeful, prudent, suspicious go up.
Is it
the heavy crits?
You witnessed the Grail? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you're...
Oh, just the shit we had to go through.
Yeah, now you have opinions.
Yeah. I think forgiving isn't a Christian, is it? I don't remember. I think it is.
Believe it or not.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
It's not a British Christian, at least. Chaste, energetic, generous, modest, temperate.
Correct.
You can be as petty as you want to be. Awareness goes up. I'm not going to roll falconry because I wasn't on my land.
Yeah.
Close. All right, yeah. So, vengeful, prudent, suspicious, awareness, they all go up. That's a 1. Con. So, all right.
Ooh, that's 3.
Oh no.
All
right.
As soon as Archie walks
Jeez.
through the door, to his manor, it's like Theoden in reverse.
The true toll of is finally revealed.
Okay. No loss.
Hey,
Con.
we each lost the same thing.
Hey.
Well, that's getting older, baby.
And we literally had the same year. We both come back like just a little slower and a little less healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of love like our characters seeing each other. Haven't seen each other for like more than a year, I think.
At least 2.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. And like we finally get to share a table and like we just share a look. And in that eye contact, both of us are like, we both know where we are exactly.
Been through the shit, yeah. Been through the shit. All right. See how our... So are there any special modifiers for family survival because of all of Kingsmark shenanigans?
Yeah. So I did go ahead and do that ahead of time. Again, your immediate family is safe. Both of y'all's.
Okay.
But your vassals' families and stuff like that are and the outside of your direct
we don't need to
are
survival for them.
No.
Okay. So I guess that's quite. Have I even found Powderow, like Caedwalla's husband? Like by the end of 556.
Yeah. Powderow was in Camelot.
Okay. All right.
And so are your kids. Your direct family are safe.
Yeah, I figure the kids are there because they're squiring right now.
Yeah.
They're all paging and squiring. All right. What's next? Economics.
Okay. So economics is easy. You're not making any money this year. The thing that we do get the roll for now, though, are some of the destruction tables.
Ooh.
So that's actually the thing that we get to do. Very rarely it's ever happened.
Yeah.
So rarely I don't even know what's on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So each of you is going to roll a. So Colin, you get to roll 2d6 and keep the highest. Jim, you get to just roll a d6.
6.
Okay.
Is that good or bad?
Not great.
Okay.
Okay, you also got the worst possible result on this as well. Okay, so each of you is going to be rolling.
We're having mirror years.
All right, each of you is going to roll.
I mean, our shit was right in the path of invasion.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly.
Right? Like our longest held lands, oldestly held.
Yeah. Okay. So now each of you are going to, for me, you're each going to roll 3d20. You're not adding them together, just 3 separate d20 rolls. Oh shit. Okay. All right. And I get to add 6 to the results of each of these. Okay. So Jim, a 14 on the destruction table plus 6 is 20, which means roll twice. So you need to roll 4 more times. I'm really sorry.
4 more d20s.
Yeah, this is going to determine what's exactly destroyed here.
This is like still sad.
Okay. You're going to. Okay, so here's what's going on for the first ones here. You also have to roll twice for the 14 one more time. So roll another 2d20. Every time you roll a 14, you're getting doubles. Okay. That's a good 14. That's not the sum. Some were okay here. Okay. So let me walk you through what's going on. So an 8 is you're going to lose 1 random enhancement. So I'm just going to make a note here and then go back and go through everything. So you're losing a random enhancement from the 8 that you rolled, which is that 2 plus 6. Following that, you rolled another 14, and so then everything else here is off of the explosions, off of the getting the 20. Okay. So a 16 is you've lost your bakery, you've lost a Panera Bread.
Oh.
You're going to lose. So that's the 16. A 22. You've your manor house and stable.
Ooh.
Are destroyed. Along with half of your herd. Sorry, not horde.
That's rough for Cholderton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your nice tells Okay. So that was the 22, and then a 15 is you've lost your village church. So then we have to roll for your enhancements. Your enhancements include where are we at? For Till's Head, I believe you have to roll a d8.
8.
Okay. That would be your orchard.
Burn the orchard. Fuck.
Burned the orchard.
So you've lost your
brutal.
So Tillsbury's messed up, and Colin, suffices to say they've taken out a lot of wrath on Winterborn Gunnet. So let's see. I think you're probably rolling for actually we're rolling for the inverse of what actually remains.
Yeah.
After they took this out on you. So similar with the 16, a field is saved. So we're starting off well. A 12, a cluster of commoners' houses is saved. And 24 is a quarter of the village. Okay, so
they mostly the people are saved.
Yeah, most of the people. So a quarter of your village and a handful of fields are it's going to be what remains of Winterborn Gunnet. Your tower is raised. Yeah, your
Emporium, the dove coat, the apiary, the chapelry, the training grounds, the orchard.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. What about the Tower of Gareth and the Oathstone?
The Oathstone remains. They did, mostly because that was just in the river, and they don't really know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But your tower is no more.
The Tower of Gareth has come down.
Yeah, it is a ruin. It can be repaired, but you can imagine sort of like the,
Oh yeah, I'm not going to delete all these because I'm going to repair most of them. But
yeah,
we'll make note.
and obviously your manor house and everything is also gone.
Mm-hmm.
You've also lost your stable and your horses. I think it's suffice to say you lost your whole herd. This has been taken.
Yeah, but we have
yeah. When like the herd that was saved by Cadwalla is like the herd that your family took, and like survivors left with.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And crucially, though, no one found the vault, which is where the rest of the ransom is kept. Yeah. So, like her.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have 7 sets of armor. Well, 6 because one of them is set aside for my son. So I'll be selling those off.
So for both of you, by the grace of God, your next of kin and your blood relatives and stuff are mostly okay.
Good. I knew Garrett was going to be okay. He's 19. He's squiring with the gorilla, so I knew he was going to be out of the worst of it.
Exactly. But it's not true for the periphery.
Yeah.
And obviously your direct lieges also passed away. Sarum is a ruin. Yeah.
There's a kind of irony here because during the anarchy, we didn't get the same kind of full-scale destruction because everything was just sort of on fire forever. Whereas this, and everyone also was like battening the hatches. So like I was always kind of in the manor protecting it. But with these larger kingdoms, this like nation scale conflict is much more destructive when it sweeps through.
Exactly. And you are in the path.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to raid a lot of cattle to fix this.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, exactly. So you can kind of see the shot of the camera going over the fields with the smoldering broken horse armor bridle stuff in the ground, broken spears and stuff in the fields, but you can kind of see little green things growing through the fields as well for the spring, and the smoldering.
I think we get the camera lingering. Camera comes down on like a smoking stone that used to be part of the Tower of Gareth.
Yeah.
And Archie looking pale and wan and gaunter than usual, like gently touching it, sort of feeling the residual heat, and seeing the destruction. But then the camera with his gaze looks up and there's a slight glint in the water and he realizes the Oathstone remains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
God.
Ooh. I think Archie's gonna rebuild the tower, and he's gonna use the Oathstone as like part of the foundation, and it's gonna be the Tower of the Oath.
Yeah. Don't tease us with this. It's so good.
We'll see how the financing works out. We'll see.
Yeah. God, that's so cool.
I like it. It started off as the Tower of Elaine that Gareth built, but then because Gareth built it, everyone afterwards called it the Tower of Gareth. Of course. And now it's going to be the Tower of the Oath.
Yeah.
All right. I'm wondering what the Easter feast of 557 is going to be. The obviously you go ahead and calculate your glory and stuff like that. I don't think we should be you all earned training and practice, given the amount of stewardship and work that's required. That's kind of what all your points and things I think are probably going to. This whole just basically straight, not even rebuilding, but just straight pure recovery, don't starve kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I don't think you have time to be like, how's my loot? This is not the year for that.
I did cross the threshold, so
nice. Yeah, you do. You definitely earn.
Rebuild my constitution back to 20.
Yeah. Obviously, any sort of threshold and things like that, you're entitled to that for sure. It's unbelievable. I can't believe you snuck away.
Cadwalla passes it 3 times. The last time I calced it was in 554.
Yeah.
And it was 16,353.
Yeah.
And then between 555 and 556, in total is 20,005.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So 4 times. Yeah.
Between all the battles.
The Castle of Adventure was like 1,000 right there. Like it just that was just
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. You did kind of recover the Holy Grail, so like it's not that far fetched as far as like when this can happen in someone's life. Holy hell.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, since 554, I've only done twice. I was like right on the edge at 554. It was 700. That's a lot. Times. Wow.
So I'm going to recover a point con as well. And then I think let's see what else we can do with these others. Razor honor. $20.
Yeah. As far as existential threats go, your literal food and survival is definitely on the table here. Making sure things are planted is probably the most important thing anyone can do right now. That's kind of what your winter phase is largely dedicated to. But looking broader than that, the culpability of King Mark still needs to be answered for this year. The pirate fleet of King Brian is still out, and then as well as the traitorous usurper Ozamor needs to be taken care of, brought to justice. In terms of existential goodies, Lancelot will appear in Camelot this coming spring. On silver sails. Yeah.
This fucking guy.
Wonderful. We need you, Lancelot.
Yeah. You know, we need you now. And funnily enough, we needed you last year too, motherfucker.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell? I know, he literally is showing up this spring to what the hell happened here, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm
just gonna get in his face, be like, where the fuck were you? I had to shit myself. Like, where were you?
Where were you, man?
He was literally on the continent trying to find himself. And right.
White girl on mission here.
Yeah. So this would represent almost a 4-year absence of Lancelot, pretty much ever since the allegations, and obviously Guinevere, and everything like that. He's been kind of like just gone.
How's his content creator apology video? Is it good? I've been spending a lot of time reflecting.
Frankly,
unfortunately,
unfortunately,
apologize to all my followers.
Unfortunately, it's too good. Everyone listens to him, especially the young knights, who, rather than seeing it as a, where the hell were you? They see it more just as, it's such a shame he wasn't here.
Yeah, it was a shame.
Right?
He had to do a growth.
He had to do a growth. Sometimes
he did a growth.
I feel like all of you, yeah. Let's see. Could you do? I think actually, like, hearing him come back, I feel like you all have gone through so much this year that something about seeing Lancelot this year probably makes some sort of feeling in you, right? Whether that's spirituality, or modesty, or suspicion, like there's got to be, or something like this is got to be brewing when you see Lancelot return after this whole year, and whether or not you chalk it up to being like justice returning to the world, or or the opposite of being like you just, where were you, kind of thing. You weren't here when we needed you. We even found the Grail without you. Like there's got to be some sort of lingering scar, or like something. This was an event for everybody, and with Lancelot being there, I feel like the absence of Lancelot during this time period manifested itself in some way. As you can tell, I'm kind of struggling with what that sort of test would be. Whether or not you're more suspicious is sort of my thought. So I guess just test trusting.
When's the last time we saw him?
Yeah, but that was kind of more of like not necessarily a dictation, but more of like an opening of a suggestion. If you think there's something better, or if you think that your character would probably just be like, nah, I totally agree with it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, trusting go down.
Yeah. Just check suspicion. If you fail, it's check suspicion.
Oh, okay. No, don't modify.
Yeah, don't automatically modify.
If I recall,
yeah,
like we don't yet have a sense of like how many round table nights were lost during the period of the Grail quest, do we?
You're starting to now, right? Like at the start of 557, I feel like we can kind of get a starting of a semblance. Yeah, you're looking at half.
All right.
Between,
because like there's a lot of us who swore the oath, and then that was the last we saw of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So exactly. So what remains partially unclear is like how many perished to recover the Grail, how many died in the wars and stuff like that, right? But you're ultimately looking at about half of everyone's. The folks that are definitely still around, Bors, Percival, Lancelot, Galahad, Gawain, Mordred. But obviously Mordred's not here. Mordred's on the continent. Yeah. And I think probably, and like we could probably do this over at Easter Feast as well. But I think Arthur, the suspicion that Mordred is actually to blame for this is not necessarily a given. Now, like, why would all of Mordred's flunkies be around and marshaling troops up north that, helping? Why was he around in this part of suppression? Why was Morgana stuff going on? Why was King Mark attacking? Yeah. But the fact that Mordred is not present, and I think the thing that sort of saves him again is Lancelot. Lancelot wasn't present, and Lancelot's not culpable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of us that were gone for these last few years. Right.
That it could be a devil and have, in inhabiting Mordred, and it took the guise of Mordred, you know.
Yeah. I mean, look, Morgan's involved. It could be anything, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So we think, yeah. So there's so many, like literally about half of the, but like it's impossible to have enough funerals for all the knights that have fallen. All of you have, you've lost almost all of your knights in service of your lords, right? Yeah. The knights that survived especially like the siege of Sarum, boy, I can't imagine sort of what's going through their heads. These are the inheritors of Sarum now. This generation that essentially got, with the sole exceptions of you two and a handful of others, is effectively like decapitated of leaders.
Yeah.
Whether or not they think I feel like there's probably a sense that they don't, almost like survivor's guilt, like why us? But also they're probably also hard as shit. Like it's probably like a kind of a mix of just how it always is.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine. Anyways, I'm trying to point out that it's a traumatizing time.
Yeah.
To be around. The Grail obviously is over. The quest is ended. And I think so for purposes of Spring of 5. Yeah.
So there's no way for Archie to go on the Grail quest now?
No. Unfortunate. Now that the Grail has been recovered, King drank from it. I know, shockers, right? So that's over. There is a resurgence of there's definitely a resurgence in true Christendom, not like this Christian superiority thing, but just in sense of like, let's get back to basics, let's go back to God. And this just literally comes from the Holy Grail. And they think that because the king drank from the cup, the land came back to life. Really turns out that people's opinions on God is directly contingent on their material situation and whether or not the earth is providing them with enough food. Turns out.
All right.
A few of the more least affected lands are in fact holding tournaments in 557. Now, this is a topic of great discussion amongst folks, especially knights. But they're saying the proceeds and things for these tournaments will go for recovery efforts and generosity efforts, and that so those who can fight and give are encouraged to. At least that's how they're framing it. Now, other people think that this is just ridiculous, that too many people are hurting. We're still fighting in Cornwall. What are we doing having tournaments? But so during the feast, I would be curious to hear your all's thoughts on where you all are landing on that for the summer. But I think the other important part is obviously King Arthur's health is improving dramatically. Where, he went from looking like he's like 87 to his Hale's, 65, but looking like he's 40. Okay.
I think it's outrageous that they would be promoting tournaments. There's an actual war on. They could be winning glory and serving their lord, and all it's like tournament is a luxury we cannot afford. That's what Kate Wall is like. This is all hands on deck moment, right? Like everybody's got to be in it. We chasing tournament glory. You could be tilting against your enemy on the field of battle. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's finish the session tonight or today with a feaster. We can get to that. Five, 5, 7. Jim, did you roll trusting for Kedwalla?
I'm still trying to think. Like, I think personally, with regards to Lancelot, it's like, thank God you're back. Like, we need you. We need our best.
Okay, you can roll trusting at +5.
I'm thinking though that there's perhaps a bit of a suspicion of those who haven't put something on the line. Like, Archibald wasn't on the ground, but Archibald was trying to restore order in the wasteland, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the knights who were sitting on the sidelines, who were neither questing nor trying to make the kingdom better, that I think she's grown suspicious of.
Okay.
That maybe that's what she's.
Or do you want to test trusting to see whether or not? Okay, so you do have a sour taste in them, but it doesn't change your opinion of people in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thinking about the feast, like, normally we've had it's about the pageantry and the like. Given like Cadwell is spiritual, like her spiritual 17, her modest is 15. Not I think it's like on the borderline of like being well done. Like
Totally.
the threshold for that 16, right? Trying to think of like how that might manifest in this, just like in a time of like when so many people's manners are devastated, and this time of like the kingdom, like fate of the kingdom hangs in the balance. That is how important she finds the pageantry of the feast. Like the it's important in its social sense, but I don't know, I don't know how that would manifest at the moment.
I imagine the garb is rather modest.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely turmoil all over the kingdom, especially out in Wales and up towards the northern parts of the reaches of Logris.
Mhm.
Anywhere where, I mean, even in, from up there all the way down to Salisbury, where you have lost leaders, right? Great amount of knights, great amount of land, and then specifically the lands that have been vassalized out. When you lose those guys, who's replacing them? So all of these like outer lands of folks is totally up in turmoil and question again.
And the wasteland didn't just disappear, right? It's just shrinking.
No, it's disappeared, seemingly over the winter, as Arthur recovers from the Holy Grail. Weird, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Power of God is great. All right.
So I think I think at the start of the feast, the now much more hale King Arthur would acknowledge sort of what everyone's gone through, and that the quest for the Grail has been a great enterprise, as it has rejuvenated and recovered the realm, but at great sacrifice. It's been a proud struggle, and our prayers still go out. You know, we dedicate our noonday prayers for those still missing. Perhaps they will still find their way home, whether that's back to through the doors of Camelot or to the gates of St. Peter's.
Speech.
Yeah, and he would conclude with you know, the kind of like what Archie was getting at, that, you know, this world of men, you know, and women, of knights, you know, is built not with the might of a sword, but with courage, chivalry, and honor.
Well said.
Yeah. And it's the ideals that keep this kingdom alive. Not just for force of arms to defend them, but it's the ideals that are the bedrock. And everyone here has not forgotten them, and those that were lost I certainly did not forget them. And may they're lost, you know, and for those we have lost, you know, may not, you know, let us solemnly vow here that they'll be remembered, and you know, they weren't lost in vain. So he vows to not change. You know, he vows to not like turn into a tyrant, or, you know, like to do anything like kind of crazy out of line, and that, yeah, to preserve the sense of justice in the world. It's a decent speech. It's not gonna may bring some tears, I guess, but it's not necessary. It's very weird to look around and see so many empty seats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For
sure. You know, the way Arthur's voice is booming for the first time in like literally 20 years, and the way it reverbs due to the lack of people and cups and stuff is, you know, both of those things are very tough to get used to, unsettling. You all look, you don't look like you're too far off from the rest of the knights that are around, right? As far as aging checks and survival thing, you know, everybody here does not seem. No one got very few people got away scot-free.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I overestimated my bonus to appearance.
Oh?
And would have crit. Well, I was like, you know, the last time I rolled for that, we had like the elves who were the elven cloth merchants.
Oh yeah.
And so I was just using that bonus, but my normal bonus would not be a 20, it'd be an 18.
Rip to those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All of that stuff is gone from the war. Yeah. No, I mean, like your artifacts and stuff remain, but I'm saying like the merchants and everybody are from otherwhere are gone.
Yeah. Run off.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that you're drinking and what we're eating today is courtesy of... Hey, where's the food? There it is. Roasted salmon, beaver tails, and kinses. This stuff is courtesy of Lancelot and his ships.
Nice. Wonderful. Oh.
Yep. And it's through his logistics and really help out Logres this year.
Went through. All right. Find the book. Oh, there it is. Book of Feasts.
Hmm?
All right.
So critting your appearance means you're up at the high table.
Mm-hmm.
You're up at the salt. Archie's near the salt. Y'all want to do cards, or you have things to talk about?
Oh,
I don't get
just dropped
cards, but
5 cards
yeah.
because I'm now over 16,000.
Yeah,
I will definitely be on that.
that's true. You're too high for cards, Cadwalla.
Yeah. So I think Cadwalla is going to start out with just talking to other members of the high table. Who's left? Like, not just of Knights of the Round Table, but just in general. Like, we've got manors to fill. We've got vacancies and various appointments and the like. Like, it's not just our liege lords that have perished, but like I imagine their retinues, their office holders.
Exactly,
So
they're marshals.
She's thinking of like who. Yeah, they're marshals, they're stewards. There's not just and not and that for them, but also like my own lands need need someone holding them.
Yeah.
So I think that's what she. That's what she starts off with.
The strongest group would be Glouchester. And look at the map for their names. In fact, a lot of like your Essex, your Anglias, your Kents, sort of like the eastern part of England, is probably the least affected out of everybody.
Okay.
As far as strength, so like least affected are your Gloucesters, your Essexes. Most affected, Wales, and a lot of like your northern kingdoms, your Noats. Weirdly enough, like Lothian and your Orkneys aren't that affected. So they're kind of like
two. I mean, they're a bit isolated.
Like, they're
how far the Orkneys are off the coast.
Yeah, so Gawain's personally gonna kind of see to a lot of the recovery efforts up there. Same with Agravain and Garrus. Then we have not Mordred, of course. Yeah, the whole like middle corridor, like your Lindsay to Gloucester, has also just been absolutely gutted. And Wales is also sort of like still kind of in flames. The pirates attack on the west. Yeah. Ireland is pretty much out of commission. So getting people over to Ireland to get them out of Ireland is sort of one of the things that people are trying to do away from pirates and stuff as well. So it's a little bit of a challenge. That's going to be a big thing this year. Obviously, the sieges of Cornwall down to Tintagel and stuff is going to be another one. So recovery efforts and all of the legal efforts and as far as strength and things like that. It's just it's really messed up.
There's a lot of fires to put out.
Yeah, if anything, the forces defending Camelot, it's almost worse this year now that people have gone back and seen the devastation and the number of available people. They're like Arthur, summon me if you must, man. And I know we have to do our duties here, but also there's nothing left for me at the, I have to rebuild. So I guess some people are like, listen, let me just stay at Camelot. There's nothing left for me in Rydachin. There's nothing left for me. Camel Yard's a wasteland. Let me serve here. Instead, there's some of those people, but then other people are like, let me mourn and rebuild. We can do stuff next year, and let's make peace because we're all spent.
Yeah.
So there's definitely I would not say it's the dominant opinion, but there's definitely an undercurrent of look, let's just sue for peace with Mark right now because we're largely spent. But you have Lancelot, and Lancelot's like, let's go get him.
Yeah.
So that's he's kind of leading the charge there.
Peace against this treacherous. How could there be peace as long as he lives?
Oh, absolutely. A hatred of Cornwall is just probably brewing. If there wasn't one already.
Yeah.
Always the dang Cornish, man. The Cornish are like the Capellans of Arthurian.
Yeah.
They're always the villains.
Sure. I think so in that sense, I think what Cadwalla is doing this round is Cadwalla is going to be trying to form further ties with Anglia. Her eldest son is already betrothed to an Anglian princess.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so I think deepening those ties in order to facilitate the recovery would be what she's gunning for here.
Yeah.
So that'd be, I guess, I don't know if that's intrigue or gossip. Of all the actions I could get, gossip comes the closest, I guess. It's not flirting, it's not indulging, it's not gaming.
Courtesy?
Courtesy?
It depends on how are you formally doing, is this through I imagine
looking to develop formal ties of
yeah. Then I think these types of talks and things like that are happening around the table rather than, in the hallways and corridors of power. So let's say courtesy.
Yeah. Okay.
Still a pass.
Take it.
Yep, so East Anglia and Salisbury, Tisbury. Nice. And what are we thinking for Archie? Do we have good cards?
Trying to decide between two: help needed or a man for all I think I'm gonna go with a man for all seasons.
Okay.
It's a keep card, so for this round it doesn't do anything. I just hold on to it, but in subsequent rounds I'm gonna build up
knowledge. Yeah.
So I'm on the wrong side of the hall.
Okay, I'm zooming out. Cool.
Yeah, and this works well because I think Archie's first priority in this feast is he's gonna start looking for a match for his son.
There's a lot of widows.
All of my kids are getting to be marriageable age. They've all been marriageable age in the creepy real life medieval sense, but for the less
game sense.
Less creepy sense. They're all at this point all 18.
Okay. We can do that at the end of this year. I'll just give you a. Are you doing this openly or are you doing this quietly?
I'm pretty open about it. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and test courtesy, and I'll give you a bonus for next winter when we can do these marriage proposals. And also give me a little bit of time to give me some ideas. That's a 1, still walking it in. Okay. So plus your effort over the feast. Okay. Yep. Okay. So is Archie? Is this when you're having these types of discussions and stuff? Is this does Archie like? Do you feel good about this stuff, or do you see this as like just the next level of work that needs to get done for the kingdom? You know. This isn't.
Archie has always enjoyed socializing, and the fact that he is adept at making that productive socializing has never detracted from the genuine joy he gets chatting people up.
Right. And so I think the thing that I'm interested in here is whether this comes from I think this could go either 2 different ways, and I want to ask you how you want to handle it, because I think there's a chance that this could go love of family and duty and things that need to get done, or this is a pride, as this is Archie that enjoys this thing.
Oh,
right.
Love of family. Not a question, because this is coming from a place of, well, our manor got fucked up, and the best way to secure things for my family is through these marriages. Like, I can rebuild the estate, but ultimately the only security they're going to have is in these marriages.
Right.
So it'll take like a decade to get the orchard back, but we can get married next year.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is that the opportunity for exploiting people right now, given the desperate states of people, is there, and you could really kind of grow your power even more. But instead you're doing it from just a reserve thing.
One.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's fair. I mean, likewise for Caedwalla's own attempts, though. But you're coming at it just from, you're not trying to build new alliances. You're trying to keep the ones you're going around. So I don't think
I'm trying to find good matches. I want my kids to be happy. I want them to be successful and rich and powerful, like I was. So, I'm gonna look for a good match.
Yeah. Right. And what's cool about that is then, that genuinely Archie's altruistic about that sense. Okay. Cool. Next round. The Beaver Tails.
Beaver Tails.
The French Beaver Tails.
Yeah, that was the poorly received Canadian knockoff of DuckTales.
Yeah, not nearly as memorable.
No.
Let's see.
They've been chasing that Rocky and Bullwinkle clout for forever.
Yeah, they sure have.
Okay.
Let's see. I think this round, Caedwalla's wants to know where our collective efforts are going to be directed towards. Like, we don't have the manpower resources to put out all these fires at once. So like, Lancelot's calling to deal with King Mark. Is anybody dealing with the pirates? Like,
you have the information that I already gave you. Are you looking to influence a direction?
I think so. I think at this point, Caedwalla's like, Caedwalla might be. I think she might put forth like, I've got 4 warships at your command, like to Arthur, right?
Yeah.
There's the rest of what's left of Wessex's strength can be mustered for that too. Like, whatever.
Whoa, hang on a
basically,
second.
it's like
Hang on a second
put
about
me
that.
to use.
Hang on, because your warships would have been ported or gated in Wessex. So there, let me just roll a 50-50. On a 1, you have them. Okay, you have them. Yes. Okay. Through luck or faith or destiny, yeah, your warships are available. Wow. So do you want to, with your warships and stuff, do you want to go after the pirates?
I think she's going to. Yeah, go for it.
Like with these warships and stuff, I'm not saying you have to like lead this part, but your warships are actually very helpful here. Do you want to help like blockade and help the sieges on Cornwall? Do you want to go hunt the pirates and help recover things from Ireland? Do you want to just straight up use this for humanitarian aid and go with and throw your lot in with Lancelot and try to keep, food coming in from the continent?
Yeah, I think 4 warships is probably not going to be enough to blockade or go after the pirates. I think it's more like we'd have to pool.
Yeah.
The
you could
the ship tonnage of the kingdom for that.
Yeah, which you could. Like, you're not the only 4 ships of the kingdom. This isn't like a Battlestar Galactica situation. There's you can. You could definitely throw your might in with King Britain's fleet.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was kind of asking about. Like, where are we sort of focusing our efforts? Because whatever that is, Cadwalla wants to support that with her ship. So if we're focusing on sieging King Mark, then we can blockade. If recovery is more important, then I think that's what she's getting a feel
for sure. It's definitely 50-50, but I think the tiebreaker is going to Lancelot and Lancelot's going after King Mark. I think the idea is we gotta save the body first. We gotta the actual territory, invasion land, and then if we can get to Ireland and things like and the pirates and stuff like that, we can do that after. The most important thing here is we need unity again on one land, one king kind of.
We're of one mind in that. So Cadwalla will lend her force
for those efforts
in support of that.
Okay.
Yep. That's what she'll pledge for.
Okay. Salisbury 2 years ago was probably like 300 knights strong, maybe 500.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like barely 200.
Yeah.
Archie is going to spend some time quietly gossiping, trying to learn more about the new Earl.
Sure.
Kind of, how was he raised? What is he like? Etc. etc. Oop. Oh no, that's a success because of the genealogy bonus.
Ah, nice.
Not a crit, sadly.
Yes. Well, what you understand about Bronwyn is that Bronwyn is a compassionate soldier. Deep down, that their father raised her well. Her highest trait is forgiving. However, her next highest trait is cruel.
Ooh, real make my opponent suffer kind of personality.
Yeah. So there's a streak of cruelty while also kind of being so not merciful but forgiving. Does that make their highest passion? Now this is where it gets tricky. Their highest passion is the hatred of Orkneys. They blame Mordred.
Oh no.
Yeah. They are definitely they have a deep down hatred of Mordred. They think that, and unfortunately they also think that they can't trust Gawain at all as well.
Mm-hmm. So for me, forgiving versus vengeful is about your willingness to let things go, right? Rather than pursue an eye for an eye every time, you know?
Yeah.
On the other hand, merciful versus cruel to me is about proportion of response.
Yeah.
Someone who's merciful will act in a sort of negative proportion where the punishment is not commiserate to the deed in a good way, and cruelty is the exact opposite, where the punishment is disproportionate to the.
There's a multiplicative factor or exponential factor to it. Yeah.
So she lets bygones be bygones, but when she passes judgment, it's like, yeah, cut off his fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's we're making a desert and calling it peace. It's like when we're actually when her chips are in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is an interesting combination to me. Because it's not someone that you would fear. It's there's a kind of the long-standing grudge holder.
Yeah.
It's like you are so terrified of getting on their bad side because they'll hold on to it forever.
Oh yeah.
For her, it's just like, just don't fuck up, because like it's gonna hurt when she punishes you. But once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to worry about generations of this following you.
Yeah, they will exactly. They will leave it, just let it go. They are fidgety. And right now, I guess they would probably care most about their spear skill, making sure, like, yeah, they're getting honed for war. They're like specifically like lance and stuff. They're worried right now about military preparedness and what we can do for Sarum. So if anything, Archie, it's not very hard to get in. No wonder. Was this a crit for intrigue?
No, just below crit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah. You're gonna get to know Bronwyn quite a lot.
Nice.
Assuming Bronwyn will ask you to stay on as marshal, if that's
easy acceptance.
Yeah. I don't think anyone knows that you gave a lie to King Mark that got his good knights killed. You know, that also cost the lives of so like I'm bringing this up because I want to know whether or not you would tell her and confide in her what happened. She thinks so. The story right now, as it's going, is just that King Mark's cruel and that King Mark did this to make you break, right? And they don't know the story that this was actually related to you giving bad information and stuff like that. Do you let that story as it is be true and like what she believes, or do you correct her and give her the full story?
Normally I would think this is just a matter of honest versus deceitful. But I think justice matters here. Just versus arbitrary. Why let this stand versus not telling would be arbitrarily deciding that this truth is not important. So I think Archie absolutely owns up to that, and says, it's in part, it's like, this is why you want me to be marshal. Yeah. I'll make those decisions.
A marshal willing to have their knights put to death.
Yeah.
To save Sarum.
The only one who is not expendable in service to the Earl is the Earl.
Yeah, and I think that sort of loyalty, is read beyond being like, oh, that's easy to say because you were their bargaining chip. That's not what's going on here when you give this story. Like, you would have been like, I would have done it myself, you know, like that without question. So, and that I'm just trying to say that that sincerity is red. And it's not, there's no cynical bone in her body or in your speech.
I think
that's conveyed.
I think this experience in captivity has hardened something in Archie. He still enjoys people and their company. He still loves kind of getting into the mix of a party and gossiping and stuff. But his relationship to his station has changed. He was handed a barony, and in many ways he was handed the marshal's job just because of his name. But he's come now to understand, at the age of 40, the depth of will necessary to perform that station. And that the station is exempt from the kinds of social networks that he usually relies on, right?
Yeah.
He's all about who's my friend, who's my pal, who can I make my friend. Well, when it comes to being the marshal, those social obligations don't exist anymore. That there's no one who owes him such a favor that he won't sacrifice them in battle, you know?
Yeah. Your born knights included.
Yeah. This is the captaincy that Archibald has come to understand, believing it to be necessary to the station.
Yeah, I'm curious of whether or not Archie will have the same story when he talks to the other families of the Bourne, rather than the Earl. I don't know. We can do that next year.
I think he's going to pay for it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And also, I know I'm also conscientious of time. I don't know if we can keep going through I would like to finish the feast if we can, y'all.
We're on round 2. We can do one more round.
Yeah, I think we'd finish the feast.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Sorry, I felt so bad. We haven't played in so many months, let alone have a feast. We had a feast drought. So I wanted to get one in today. That might have been overzealous. I believe it's your turn, Jim.
All right, so let's spend the last bit here. I want to know where Mordred's at. If anyone knows, anything, like anyone's not saying anything. Like, it's one thing to like, what's the general tenor? But like, surely someone's seen something. I was trying to look through my notes when the last time we saw Mordred, or even heard anything about him. And I think it was maybe the duel in the mud, right? Where it just knocked that nasty duel.
Yeah, his allies. Yeah, with the maces. Yeah, the maces that break in the first round. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know. I guess that's maybe intrigue. She just don't want to make a big deal out of it, and more just, in the quiet moments of the feast. Who's heard anything? Who's seen him?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone know anything? That kind of thing.
Right. Give me some intrigue. See what kind of the value of the rumors you find. Beautiful. Yes. You've heard that he has set sail for the continent, and that he is working with none other than Lancelot to help recover and bring things to the continent. He's sort of like helping lead the aid.
Okay.
Now to you, the more cynical, knowing that, I believe you have the belief that Mordred's fingers are in the pie here. I'll give you the benefit of what you're finding out is that you're no doubt that Mordred is going to use some of this aid to gain favors, forgiveness, partial friends in the recovery efforts to come in the years.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Cadwalla
he's playing both sides.
Convinced by Lancelot that like Mordred's on the up and up. Like he's maybe not the spotless of records,
Yeah.
But he's on an upward trend. And so it's like I expect him to use this to his advantage somewhat. He's gonna have to take over a kingdom that's been devastated. He needs,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the light that she looks in. But okay, so Lancelot can confirm that it's like he's with.
Well, yeah, Lancelot's the one that told you. Well, what he says that Lancelot's the one that tells you that he's been on the continent.
Okay.
And he assumes that he's been helping with the recovery efforts for that reason, right?
So,
because again, Lancelot unfortunately still has a really good vision of Mordred more than anyone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I drew a host card.
Oh, nice. What does Arthur require of you?
Nothing. It's one of the weird ones where it's not directly a host card. It's a lady and you. An important lady spends time conversing with you. You keep it. You get 1 geniality per round, but can't draw cards. And at the end of the feast, you can petition the host to court the lady. And I think this is probably a good opportunity of like, maybe Arthur puts someone forward for Garrett's possible.
Yeah. Matchmaking. Okay. Do you mind if we can we pause on that and can we table? Yeah, can we put a pin in it and I can come up with some people for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so you're actually giving even better matchmaking advice than I already had already. Okay. Good card. Okay. The card guarantees this. Okay. Is that it?
That's that.
Wow. Okay. How much genealogy did you get total for that first card?
So I only got 2 tokens on it, but that's still 4 more genealogy. So I got a total of 8.
Nice. Jim?
Kind of with a cool 90. Just that 2 per round is good. You don't really.
It does not.
If you don't crit, there's not a lot of. You don't have the upper limits that a good card will get you.
Yeah.
It's compared to some of the previous feasts. It's a good feast.
Mm-hmm. So,
let's see.
Forgive me. Did we do the Quince's Stewed in Wine? The third round? For you?
I think that was the third round.
That was the third round. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Just confirming where Mordred was. The rumors were true. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep. The shadow is not banished all the way. Okay. Well, that will wrap up this crazy Grail period. Definitely weird. Went on way longer due to breaks, but that's just how life is now. But with the Grail quest out of the way, that means we are on the Twilight period. So this is this is the end. King Arthur, at the end of King Arthur has been ruling for 47 years.
Nice.
So it's been a while. I think, best of luck. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
As we're in the final stretch. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming over and playing again. And we'll can't wait to continue. Cool.